What is up, YouTube? Purger here, back with another video, and I got another PC. This also came from my old house that got broken into recently. If you want to link to the channel, I'll link it. If you've been sticking with the channel, you'll see that I did a 2003 Sony Vaio disassembly because someone smashed it. This one is intact. It was in the house, but no one touched it, fortunately. So I'm going to be doing a test to see if this works before I open her up and put a new motherboard and make her a beast, a modern beast. This is actually an AM2 platform, the AM2 socket for the CPU. First, I'm going to be testing it as stock, all stock, basically if you were to buy it brand new from the store. Then after, we're going to put a better GPU in there and see how she performs. The CPU is kind of ancient. It's a quad-core AMD Phenom 9550. Let's see if she boots up first. Well, that's not good. On this side, this one opens on the complete opposite side, which is interesting. Oh, that's why she's beeping. There's no RAM in here. Had a set of 2 GB each laying around. Put that in there and see if she works. Alright, it's in there. Should work now. Alright, the beeps. So I'm gonna swap the hard drive from this computer, wipe it, and put it in a new one because I don't really have a hard drive for games, and I need to test this appropriately. Alright, now it's checking that old hard drive that you've seen that was already in there. This might be failing, actually. Windows Vista wasn't bad at the time. It was bloated and slow for older systems, but look at that. It had decent animations for getting around. So Windows Vista is not really a supported build, so we're gonna upgrade to Windows 10. I'm gonna fast forward the installation process because that'll take too long. But here we are running Windows 10 and on a secure version. Windows 10 is going to end in October 2026, so might as well test as much as I can on older computers right now, get all the Windows updates, and let's see how this does in a performance test with modern games. I don't really expect much with this GPU. Alright, so I couldn't get a proper recording of this because the CPU is bottlenecked and it wouldn't record properly, and it just made the performance even less. So turns out this GPU, being an old ATI Radeon 3450 at only 256 megabytes of memory, usually the minimum is 8 gigabytes, not even a gig from this card. Don't really expect it to really perform that much, honestly, but it was worth a try. Bit of an outdated card, made in 2007. Black Ops 2 was made in 2012. So, yeah, it doesn't really perform that well with this. Crazy. So I figured I would try to do a lighter game like Minecraft, and the results isn't too bad. Although the loading times to get into the worlds are pretty long, and even the game. This game is ranging from 14 to 30 FPS. And the average was 20 FPS. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of weird. I don't know what was wrong with the game, but GT4 was released in 2008, so I figured I would get a better performance in this game. Considering the GPU was made in 2007, that's only 1 year. I don't understand that. It took forever to launch into the game, and the game wouldn't stop flickering. Now the thing is, considering I had to wipe everything off this and I installed Windows 10, there's a good possibility, because I don't have the graphics drivers installed for this old GPU, maybe that's the reason why it's performing so bad, because it doesn't have the GPU drivers installed, and I didn't really trust most of the websites that had it available because AMD no longer supports those drivers. So I'm gonna just stop it testing here for this GPU. I'm going to install the newer GPU and we'll see how much better it can do.
So we tested this with the current GPU, which is pretty ancient, so gave us bad performance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the GPU out of this one, the 6600 XT, which is a modern GPU, a better GPU. It's AMD 2, so it might work a little better with the
AM2 CPU,
old school one, but both these systems are going to be turned modern. You've seen this in the last video, so this is still not as new, but it's a lot newer than this one, and it performs a lot better than this one. But this is still outdated. This is outdated, but we're just going to see how this GPU performs with this CPU. Figure out that the older GPUs have this one little area in the bottom that's a pain in the ass. Turns out that little latch right there has to be pushed this way, not this way like I thought, but you know, it's a weird little socket. Alright, so I'm gonna take the GPU out to HP. Alright, got that out. Putting this GPU in there. So I might need to actually take this power supply out of here. Oh, great. Alright, so I took the power supply, the old power supply out, because in order to actually get this card in, you do need a VGA power 8-pin. So I'm gonna replace the power supply and put this one in there, since for right now we're gonna be testing this and seeing how it performs with this motherboard and CPU combo, as well as the RAM. Probably not gonna be that good, but the GPU should help it a lot better, since we're replacing it from this one, the one that came with the system. So power supply's in. Okay. Alright, we got everything set up, the new GPU set up, the new power supply, and we're ready to go. All we gotta do is see how she performs, and we'll move on what to do from there.
Having this better GPU, I can put it on a better screen so I can test actual 4K and 1080. It seems to be running a 60 FPS on Black Ops 2, at least in the menus. But the loading time for getting into games was extremely long. The game performed a lot better at a 46 steady FPS at a 4K setting. At full HD 1080p, it managed to go from 44 to about 53 up here. So it performed a little bit better, but not by much. But it is a lot better, I will say. Minecraft runs pretty decently. Pretty sure this is a 60 FPS, but it wouldn't really tell me what it was. It wouldn't give me the stats for this one for some reason. It performed pretty decent, except for the fact that the menu took a long time to pop up. The CPU is pretty slow. Anyway, moving on. Decided to try GTA 4 once again with this newer card to see how better it would perform, and it gave me a poor performance of 10 to 11 at 4K. However, when I changed it to 1080, it actually improved and put it up to around 30 FPS, which is a lot better, but it managed to even get to around 40 FPS. Well, that concludes the test. Turns out, not many games run on this system very well, and that's due to the fact that the CPU in this thing is around 16 years old. Unlike the Intel we previously tested on the HP, that is only a 9-year-old CPU. And yes, Both of these are 4 cores of CPU processing. We also have the issue that we didn't have the ATI, the old AMD graphics for the old card installed, so that's why the previous test wasn't doing too well initially. But when we popped that new GPU in, everything started to do a little bit better, despite the CPU bottlenecking and the long loading times. And as I said, it's because of the CPU being so old in this system. So stay tuned for me modernizing this to a better CPU and motherboard combo so we can run games at a high FPS. I'll see you guys for the next video.